Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to, in my opinion, the best college football week of the year. Yeah, sure, the playoff is great, and this is great, and that's great. The best week of the year for college football, without a doubt, is rivalry week. Because for a lot of teams, this is the only week that matters. You could be, no matter how good or bad you or your opponent might be, an entire season's worth of work is based on whether or not you beat your rival. I currently go to a school where that is the case. Indiana football is not doing very well, but you know what? A win against Purdue could just salvage the whole season. So what we're gonna do is go through every single FBS game. Now, for the games that are of little importance, we will kind of go quickly over them, but most teams, not every team, but most teams are playing their biggest rival this week. And there are also some playoff and division implications at stake. Let's begin with the Thursday night game, Thanksgiving. Today is Thanksgiving, by the way. Make sure you drop, you know what? Never mind. Anyway, Mississippi State and Ole Miss. I find it interesting. Ole Miss is only a 2-point favorite. I think I maybe tell you a little bit something about Ole Miss. They just got stomped by Arkansas. Did not look great. I'm going to say that Mississippi State gets the road win here. I think that they are going to be coming out a little bit better into this game, and I think they're going to win. And there are your Tuesday night games for anyone that cares. I know a lot of people that go to Ball State. Sorry, no bowl game. 5-7. That sucks. That was what we like to call here an Elijah Bowl. It's basically a matchup between two 5-6 teams, and one of them is going to be bowl eligible, one of them's not. That's an Elijah Bowl. So maybe there will be some Elijah Bowls on here. Tulane and Cincinnati. This game not really a rivalry, but both these teams are very good, 9-2. Potentially, the winner of this game could be the Group of 5 representative in the New Year's Six Bowl. Of course, one Group of 5 team always ends up going. And I know UCF's also in the conversation. So is Coastal Carolina, I think. In this game, I'm going to take Tulane. I saw Cincinnati play against IU, and they didn't look that great. They, of course, beat the hell out of IU, but so have a lot of teams this year. So I'm gonna take Tulane. I think they're a little bit better this year. Baylor and Texas. I'm gonna take Texas. I think Texas is definitely better, and they're at home, so should be a win for Texas. I'm sure Baylor would love to win that. Utah State and Boise State. Interesting matchup here. Definitely going to take Boise State. 7-0 in the Mountain West. Should be easy pickings for them. Central Michigan and Eastern Michigan. I'm going to take... I'll take Eastern. They look a little bit better. 7-4 opposed to 4-7. Toledo and Western Michigan. I'll take Toledo. I know Toledo's not terrible. 7-4. They got a decent team. Arizona State. I actually picked Arizona to go winless this year. I said Arizona would finish the year with 0 wins. Now, they're 4-7, but Arizona State 3-8. They're not too much better. I'm going to take Arizona. Arizona State was in a lot of controversy this year. Herm Edwards got fired, and people are saying that that the players were hoping the coach would get fired. I mean, just a mess. NC State and North Carolina. I'm going to take North Carolina. They're for sure the better team, without any shadow. Oh, I just realized all these games are on Friday. All these games are tomorrow. Interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely taking NC State. Arkansas and Missouri. They play for a trophy, I think. They play for the border trophy with the little boot in the border. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna take Missouri. 5-6. I think they're gonna win and get to a bowl game. I think they show out at home against their rival. New Mexico and Colorado State, my God, these teams are both horrible. New Mexico State is 0-7 in the Mountain West. We'll take Colorado State. Nebraska and Iowa. Now, the reason I'm going to be rooting for Nebraska, I'm not saying I think they'll win, but the reason I'm going to be pulling really hard for Nebraska is because IU plays Purdue. I'm, of course, going to be at that game. It's going to be a big game. The Oak and Bucket game. Going to be a great game. But if Iowa loses, Purdue can clinch the Big Ten West title. In order for Purdue to win the Big Ten West, they need to win and Iowa needs to lose. But if Iowa wins, they're just already eliminated. So what I hope happens is I hope Nebraska wins and Purdue has a chance to win the Big Ten West and IU beats them. That's what I hope happens. So I am going to be rooting for Nebraska in this game for that reason. I don't think they'll win. I think Iowa will win, but I will be rooting for Nebraska. UCLA and Cal, definitely UCLA. Cal is just not very good. Florida State and Florida. Interesting. I feel like a lot of people would have picked Florida at the start of the year. Florida State's had a strong year. Credit to them. 8-3. It's a lot better than I thought Florida State would do. 9.5 point favorite at home against their rival. I'm going to take Florida State. Wyoming and Fresno. I'm going to take Fresno. They're usually one of the better teams. Okay, this is the game I'm going to be at. Purdue and Indiana. Now. Purdue is definitely the better team. That's just a fact. They're a better team. But a lot of times these rivalry games don't matter who the better team is. IU's going to be at home. I think that's going to be a big factor. Crowd's going to be rocking. And IU. So IU, to start the season, they started Missouri transfer Connor Bazelak. He was not very good. I mean, he was all right, but basically they had him throwing the ball like 60 times a game, and it's like, okay, this guy should not be throwing the ball 60 times a game because he's really just not that good of a thrower. Then they put in longtime backup Jack Tuttle against Penn State. And he, of course, did Jack Tuttle things. He's not very good. He hadn't been good. Then they put in a guy, Sorsby, I forget, some Sorsby, who is supposed to be in high school. He is actually, he reclassified. So they put that guy in. He's no good. I'm sure he'll be all right. He's supposed to be in high school now. Then they finally put in the guy I said should have been starting the whole year for IU. Fourth string quarterback, Dexter Dennis. Because he's not a great thrower. None of the four guys are great throwers. But Dexter Dennis can run. And that is why we beat Michigan State, because we pounded the run, because Dexter Dennis can run. I'm not sure how well Purdue's going to be prepared for that, since he has just taken over late in the year. I'm going to say IU wins. Hate me. We're bringing the bucket back to Bloomington. It's going to happen. Georgia and Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, hey, a win could get them to a bowl game. Too bad you're playing the number one team in the country, and you're going to get monkey stomped. Yeah, that is going to be a blowout. Definitely Georgia. All right, here's the big game. Here's the big game everyone's talking about. Michigan and Ohio State winner going to the Big Ten Championship and in all likelihood going to win the Big Ten Championship and make the playoff. Loser, tough shit. You're done. Now, I thought throughout the majority of the year, Michigan had looked better than Ohio State. I actually got to see Michigan play when they played IU at home. I thought Michigan had looked better than Ohio State had throughout the entire year, but to be honest, their whole body of work is pretty similar. But I don't know. It's interesting. I think the big thing with this game is Blake Corum going to play? I know he got hurt against Illinois and missed the remainder of that game against Illinois in the game. Michigan almost lost to Illinois. Is he going to play? I think he's supposed to play. From all that I've heard, he's supposed to play. He's got 1,400 yards and 18 touchdowns. If they want any chance to win, he better play. And I'm pretty sure he's going to play. I think this is going to be a really close game down to the wire. But I think in the end, I think Ohio State is a little bit better. I don't know if they're a little bit better, but they are at home. And I just don't think that Michigan's going to have enough to beat him on the road. I think Ohio State will win. I'd rather see Michigan win. I'm kind of tired of Ohio State winning every year. I know Michigan won last year. You can chill out. I mean, it's only a matter of time until Indiana's competing for the Big Ten East. I kid, of course, but my pick is Ohio State. I think that they will win. South Carolina and Clemson. I think this could be a closer game than a lot of people think. South Carolina is a team that really I did not think was very good to start the year. I'm like, they're not going to be great. And they did not start the year great. They lost to Arkansas and Georgia, and they lost to Missouri, but this win, this Tennessee win, is going to have them riding in high. I think Clemson still has a lot to play for. Maybe a college football playoff berth. That's a stretch. That really is a stretch. They would need some stuff in front of them. But I think Clemson wins. But I will say, if you are I don't know how many of you, I would say Clemson 14 and a half. Take a good bet. I feel like would take South Carolina with the points. If I'm getting 14 and a half with South Carolina, I'd take that. I think Oklahoma State will beat West Virginia easy. UMass and Army. Who did UMass beat? They're 1-10. Stony Brook. Interesting. Almost beat A&M. Oh my God. I'll take Army. New Mexico State and Liberty. Definitely gonna take Liberty in that one. Rutgers and Maryland. Take Maryland. Easy. This is interesting. James Madison is a 14-point favorite against Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina is a real strong team. I'm surprised James Madison is that much of a favorite. I'm going to take Coastal. I think they're better. 14 seems like a lot. I'm going to take South Alabama's 9-2. Good for them. Good for you, South Alabama. Almost beat UCLA. But good for you, South Alabama. I'll take you over Old Dominion. I think Marshall will beat Georgia State. I'm going to take Western over Florida Atlantic. I'm going to take East Carolina over Temple. I'm going to take Buffalo over Kent State. Akron doing Akron things, 1-9. Who'd they beat? St. Francis, PA. Who the hell is that? Yeah, I'll take Northern Illinois. Rice and North Texas. I'm going to take North Texas. Kentucky and Louisville. Interesting game here. Louisville is ranked. They started the year off real slow, but they've rebounded nicely. Nice little string of wins here against some nobody ACC teams. Lost to Clemson, but worse things have happened. At Kentucky on the road, Kentucky really hadn't looked that great. And it's they're at home though, and then again they did lose to Vanderbilt at home. I don't know. I'm gonna take Kentucky. I think they'll win. I'm gonna take Kentucky. Let's see. Auburn and Alabama. Ooh, the Iron Bowl. Yeah, this would be a big game if either one of these teams were any good. I guess Bama's good. They're top 10. But Auburn just not very good. They're trying to see how they can lure Coach Prime next year. Who's Auburn's coach going to be? Deion Sanders? Lane Kiffin? Something? It's a name I've heard being thrown around. Don't know. But I do think they will beat the bejesus out of Auburn. Oregon and Oregon State. Interesting game. These are two strong teams here. I'm going to take Oregon State because they're at home and they would love nothing more than to spoil their rivals' chances of going to a conference championship game. Let's take a look at that. Let's look at the standings for the Pac-12. So the top two teams from the Pac-12 make it to the conference championship game. So currently it's USC. I think USC has already clinched a berth because they don't play any more conference games. They play Notre Dame this week. So they're done with conference games. If Oregon loses, then Washington is going. But if Washington also loses, then it's Utah. I'm not sure what would happen if Utah also loses. But basically, Washington and Utah need Oregon to lose. If Oregon wins, they're going to the Pac-12 title game. I think that their most hated rival, Oregon State, in the Civil War, that's what their rivalry is called, I believe, Civil War. I think Oregon State wins it. Illinois and Northwestern. Illinois is going to win just because Northwestern still has not won a game in the United States this year. They won that game in Ireland, and then just after that, 0-10 since that game. How the mighty have fallen. Terrible. Minnesota and Wisconsin in the longest running rivalry. Minnesota beat Wisconsin last year, and they rushed the field. It was a great win. I don't think Wisconsin's going to let that happen again. I'm going to take Wisconsin. Wake Forest and Duke. Duke is 7-4. You know what? Good for them. I'm going to take Wake Forest. Wake Forest definitely better. I'm going to take San Jose over Hawaii. I'm going to take SMU over Memphis. I'm going to take Troy's 9-2. Good for them. I'm going to take Troy over Arkansas State. I'm going to take UAB over Louisiana Tech. I'm going to take Utse over UTEP. TCU, last regular season game. Can they finish undefeated and stay in that playoff spot? They definitely are going to win against Iowa State. Iowa State's 4-7, not even going to make a bowl. Very bad this year. I'm definitely taking... Nope, Stephon Diggs just caught a touchdown. I'm going to take TCU. I think Penn State will beat Michigan State. Michigan State's just terrible this year. Speaking of terrible, Colorado and Utah. Definitely going to take Utah. Utah's favored by 29.5. Jesus. I'm gonna take UL Monroe over Southern Miss. I'm gonna take Lafayette over Texas State. I'm gonna take UNLV over Nevada. I'm going to take App State over Georgia Southern. I'm gonna take Middle Tennessee over FIU. Oh boy, what are we gonna do with you, Texas A&M? Jeez, they are just terrible. Definitely LSU. A&M couldn't. A&M is just not any good. Ooh, Buffalo just missed an extra point. Yeah, I'm definitely taking LSU. I'm going to take UCF over South Florida. South Florida's 1-10. Yikes. USC and Notre Dame. This is going to be a very big game. A very big game this will be. Because USC could still go to the playoff if they win. If USC wins their next two games, if they beat Notre Dame and if they beat whoever it may be in the Pac-12 title game, they're probably going to the playoff, because what it's looking like now is Georgia's going to beat LSU. Now, LSU still can win, but in all likelihood, Georgia beats LSU. Ohio State or Michigan, one of them's got to fall. And then TCU is going to get in if they go undefeated, and then that one spot left, probably going to be USC. They got a lot to play for. Notre Dame coming to town. Think USC takes care of business and wins this one. Tennessee and Vanderbilt, I'm just so upset about Tennessee still. And Vandy's been winning games. I don't know. I'll take Tennessee. I don't think we'll lose to Vandy. I'm going to take Texas Tech over Oklahoma. Syracuse over Boston College. Houston over Tulsa. Kansas State over Kansas. Kind of a big game. Kansas State's 12, but they're 8-3. Taking Pitt over Miami because Miami just sucks. Taking San Diego State over Air Force. Apple Cup, Washington and Washington State. I'm gonna take Washington. I think they're definitely better. They got Michael Penix, former IU QB. He's a stud. BYU and Stanford. I'm gonna take BYU. Actually, no. I'm gonna take Stanford. And I think this Virginia Tech game was canceled because of the Virginia shooting where the 3 football players died. Heart goes out to that entire college. I know a lot of teams wore Virginia stickers on their helmets to honor that, so I do feel bad for Virginia. Yeah, probably a good time to cancel that game if that's... I'm assuming that's why they canceled it. I haven't read up on it at all. But those are my picks. Kind of a long video, I feel like. 19 minutes. Isn't that long? But yeah, love y'all. See you next time. Yeah, go IU. I'm a probably vlog that game.